Wow, ladies and gentlemen, we have the most beautiful lady with us this day. We're recording at the beginning of March 2026. Unfortunately, Janet and I know each other very well because we had a surprise meeting way before COVID. And I'm immensely honored that she's chosen to come back onto this wonderful podcast platform. Janet is a very unique medium, as well as being a spiritual teacher and a psychic investigator of huge renown. So we're looking at a lady who has actually trained in the psychic arts all of her life and therefore has a compendium of experiences and knowledge, which is very unique. However, she has this unique ability as a medium, as a trance medium, to release what you see sitting in front of you at the moment. I don't mean that she suddenly transmogrifies, but what will happen is that she channels this extraordinary master who is disincarnate. So she probably will have her eyes closed through the transmission as Zach comes through. Yes, his name is Zach. And Janet has been channeling Zach for many years, principally since 2012, through all of the unique events that took place for the beginning of the age of Aquarius. And this Grand Master, this ascended being, has unique opportunities to share from this high dimensional platform. Do we know what dimension Zach is actually arising from?
26th. He says the 26th dimension.
Way high. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, my name is Stuart Pearce. You have Janet Treloar in front of you. All of her information will be will be pinned underneath this exquisite podcast. And this podcast is called Deep Dialogues because literally it is a dialogue. And so, although I'm going to be in great respect and honoring and awe of what Zach brings forth, there will be a dialogue between us. So it's not that suddenly it's going to be a presentational platform or whatever. It is a conversation. It is a dialogue. And as it suggests, it's a deep dialogue. So we go into extraordinary realms of human consciousness, and indeed, of course, the relevancy of what's taking place on our planet. Deep Dialogue as a podcast is an invitation to leading global soul stewards to come and share their extraordinary wisdom, their craft, and their experience of what it is to be embodied as a spiritual initiate. And of course, you've already heard me prepare you for the wonder of what Janet is all about. And you'll see that Zach, when he comes through, is just a master of the most consummate arts within the field of spiritual wisdom and all of its ancillary aspects. So, Janet, what do you need, darling? Do you need a few moments just to prepare yourself? Is there anything you'd like to say as Janet?
As Janet. I think the opportunity of having a deep dialogue like this with Zach is wonderful. It's always better that I don't know questions beforehand, not because I can particularly influence him, it just gives him complete free rein. And he is of his time now. He wants it to be a backwards forwards. He wants to be pushed. He wants to get really deep into those aspects that sometimes we wouldn't really even think of. So I'm just really, really pleased to actually be here, and a real pleasure as he's been pushing for a little while to get in. So I will get out the way. And as you said, Stuart, I'll have my eyes shut, and there is a change in accent, and it's a heart transmission as he comes through. He said that is part of, as you receive the information, it's not just the words. So as you're listening to what's coming from Zach, always go with what resonates with you, but also feel the energy. It's really, really powerful. He says we're in the era of the heart now, and people are really feeling that energy come through as they receive the information. So I'll get out the way and I will leave you with Zach. I think you two are old friends, Stuart. He was speaking to you.
I'm so honored and I'm so excited. This is the fourth conversation that I've had with Zach, so I'm so excited. Bless you, darling.
Welcome, my dear. Welcome, welcome. Together once more.
Zach, welcome. I am so thrilled that you've chosen to come through for this unique conversation. Thank you so much. Much love to you and great. It's such a great and unique pleasure for us, and what respect we have for you. We hope you are well in your disincarnate state.
We always enjoy this terminology when people are well and so forth. Wonderfully, we do not have to deal with the, shall we say, challenges of incarnation, and therefore we are always well. Yes, yes, yes. Well, eager, and ready for you, my dear.
Thank you so much for being here. I know that was a very human thing for me to say, but I thought I'd try the escalating energies that will cascade through. Zach, this is an immensely unique time on planet Earth. On one hand, we see that the planet is being affected by vast astrological configurations that we in this community perceive as wondrous and full of unique opportunities for us to grow, for us to expand and develop our spiritual muscles. And on another hand, we know that on the other hand, we see that there's an escalating crisis called war upon our planet. And so the first question that I would like to ask you is, do you have a particular perspective on the substance of the Middle East crisis?
People at this time are very reactionary. There's been much that has happened over many, many years, not just in this part of the world, all over, that has stimulated a deep felt desire to be seen, to be heard, for the way of being that your heart's desire is to come to fruition. Now, in the imperfection of your perfect world, there can be times where through this, it tips over balance into a domineering force. And you are now coming in completely into the time of personal power. And with that, there is much more action that is possible. Now, when this dominant force comes in, it does mean that there is almost a whole wealth, a new area of power that you can tap into. Now, for the majority of the world, the majority of the people, as this is affecting every single person and all of nature upon your planet, they are directing this new ability and this heart's desire into ways that is more in line with betterment for themselves, yes, but also betterment for others. However, you could call it a hangover. There is a leftover part of what you could have called human nature that resides from a very long time ago, where there was a deep belief system. To get heart's desire, it required force. It required shouting louder than the other person to get the point across, to say, this is what we want. Now, what we were seeing really deeply at the source is many involved who are still in this energy, or should I say, being inspired by this old energy. However, one of these ways is a way to push through to the other side. Now, that is not to detract at all from any of the pain, the suffering. This is, often in spiritual practice, human beings are told that so much of experience comes from suffering. And this is true. However, we have gone past that point. It is deepest desire of the universe that the experiences that human have come from heart's desire in a far more appreciative way, where pain and suffering is reduced to the minimal. However, of course, in acts of violence, in acts of war, in times of complete and utter lack, for example, famine and other, this becomes very, very clear. And therefore, what is important is how everybody else reacts. How do you yourself react when you hear such news? Whichever opinions or feelings people have regarding what is happening, going deeper into the feeling of pain and suffering? How do we react? And what is incredible about the soul that you are within a human experience is you can radiate through yourself to others a change. And therefore, simply by keeping in an equilibrium and a desire to push past this into a place of harmony, into a place of negotiation, of coming together, of actually listening and hearing one another. This can be done from, your very own armchair. The more and more that people can do this. So we could say, although these events, humans will always have free will upon the planet. And therefore, these events that are happening are, although very concerning to most people, understandably so, wherever you are on your planet, you can actually assist the peace to come, the harmony to come, simply by desiring it to be so. And does this make sense to you, my dear? Does this answer your question?
This is extraordinary, Zach. Thank you so much. This is absolutely wonderful. For two reasons. We hear the clarity of your words, your message, but also we feel a deep, deep resonance of healing moving through, particularly in relation to all that you've just said about the counsel of the heart, of the ability of our hearts to reach into an energy whereby we can feel compassion for all the assets and all of the aspects of what's taking place within this time of great revolution and change. And so thank you, you have answered. I would love for you to perhaps continue with the beautiful magic and spell of how you consider the human heart to be so significant in the journey that we're taking forward, so that we can really move through compassion over the conflict, that we can really find dialogue over destruction and peace through the alteration of our social systems through war. The heart is significant. Please, could you speak to what you feel the glory of the heart to be?
Well, this is coming at a very pertinent time, considering the energy of the heart. For thousands upon thousands and thousands of years, the way the heart worked was in service to the brain. And this was because at the time of development, evolution, and all sorts of different things, it was necessary for the brain to have a dominance for simple survival, really, in the world, for the technologies that come, for even what you describe these days as the Industrial Revolution and so forth. This was very, very prominent in the development of humanity, far more so than emotional maturity and stability within. Now, for many years, there has been progress because we watch the energy of people, we see the collective force. As the emotional maturity became stronger and stronger, and you may be thinking, what emotional maturity from what we see? However, if we could just pluck you out of your world and take you back 50 years, or should I say more likely 100, 200 years, you would find it to be very different. You would find compassion and so forth, something that wasn't actually occurring so much, not outside of immediate vicinity of those that you may care for or who care for you or you love. So therefore, with the advent of this emotional maturity, it was always designed, you could say, within the blueprint of your soul, that to live at this time on earth, you would go through an unprecedented frequency transformation, which focus completely on the heart. Now, already in your technologies and other, you're aware of the electrical influence and the thousands upon thousand times stronger the heart electrical impulses and coherence in other parts. Now, we are still, of course, taking on board the intelligence of the mind and the strength and so forth as the third eye and the crown has developed further. And now we have completely lit up with the heart. And again, whether you look at your neighbor, somebody that you know, don't know, and you think, well, are they, aren't they? It is happening. And this is also part of the confusion for people. They do not know what to do with such strong feelings that they are having. This is why we have spoken so much over many years regarding the self-mastery and the inhabitation of emotions and other. Move this woman's hair out way. Bear with me. Yes. And so therefore, with the heart becoming so much stronger, many are a bit like looking at a particular situation and changing the lens, changing the perspective. You are changing it by moving it through the heart. Now you are in a transition time, all of you here on earth. Some people are already, well, ahead of the game. Everyone will catch up. No one is being left behind. This is a collective situation that is happening to all your animals, all of nature as well. Whether they have what you think of as a physical heart or not, there is a group heart consciousness as well, which is connected to the heart of the universe. And what we really mean by that is to the source of all energy, or light, or power, or passion. Therefore, you can imagine if you engage with your heart. This really came online after certain astrological events at the end of the year that you call 2025. You are now in a position, whether you have utilized it, a bit like being a gift at Christmas time, that you haven't taken out the box and played with yet. Now what you can actually do is utilize this energy from your heart. You may even knock your socks off initially when you accept to yourself that you have greater power, and this is true for everyone, whatever position they are in. The manifestation of their dreams can happen so much quicker. I mean, imagination, after all, is the true magic of your earth. And so through the imagination, the heart can work, and it has so much greater power than before. And so this can truly be not only the salve for what is happening, but it can really be the elixir. You know, this can be what is actually coming through that will change the world into a very, very different place. And not like you might have on a greetings card, you know, all about the heart. This is the true energy of the heart. This goes beyond opinions, personalities, feelings for one another. If you truly are allowing yourself to drop into the heart, you may become very surprised at how what you have considered very human nature, very normal experiences, simply wash away. And it is if from a higher perspective, for want of a better word, that you are seeing things from more of an equal's perch with greater equilibrium, with greater harmony, and of course, the best part, with greater compassion and empathy. Understand, yes, my dear, is this your own experience too?
This is extraordinary. It's so rich. Thank you so much, Zach. Absolutely goes to the very core, the pith of what the question was all about. And so I'm understanding, I believe, please say if I'm not, but we are on an interesting cusp, we Homo sapiens, a cusp of change where we balance the heart with the head, we balance intellect with intuition, we balance the love and the compassion and the empathy of the heart with clear thinking and rightful choices. Would you, it's rather simplistic, but would you say that that's accurate?
Absolutely. Now we've got a funny seesaw balance at the moment where there was such much emphasis on the head, and now we're having emphasis on the heart. And sometimes people are running away with what their heart wants and forgetting that they have a brain, they have a mind, they have choices. So we are not seeing it fully yet. We are expecting 2027 to be the time where we see far more of a balanced state of being for the majority people here on earth, where they are finding their true rhythm, their true groove, enabling a good balance between the two. Those who focus on it and become aware of it will do it quicker. You can imagine when you're hurly-burly, doing lots of things, rushing around, and you're not thinking of it, you can often switch from one to another, and things can get a little bit tricky. But exactly as you say, you are becoming, as you know yourself, my dear, to use your own words, luminous being. See, I remember, my dear, luminous beings. And this is because of the light. And of course, for yourself, my dear, with the particular contingent of angels that you work with, they have been the forebearers of much of this work, much of the, not only the connections, like an old style telephone communication system, putting in the wires for people. They have been able to help a lot of the hurty hearts, to give them the platform to be able to shine, to be able to radiate. Therefore, just as you have been doing this word for more decades than you probably care for me to mention yourself, you have been preparing the way for exactly these moments in time, for exactly this this particular decade, and the fruit that it shall bear, let us call it that. But yes, as you say, we are moving into a time of full luminosity, and it is not pie in the sky. It is not let us hope so. It is not let's look at the track that we are on. A lot of people are there already. They have just not fully embodied it. And it is happening because it is happening to do with the cosmos, to do with the frequency, to do with the changes. And if you reside on this planet, there is no getting away from it. You will change with it. And it is for the good, is it not, my dear?
Absolutely. This is fantastic. Beautiful. Thank you so much. And you mentioned chronology, you mentioned time sequences. This year being a preparation, 27 being the beginning of accomplishment in terms of the balance between head and heart. And we know that it takes only 11% of the population to change mass consciousness. You see this evidently as being very effective. And I would love if you could possibly refer to the arc that so many of us have been taught to see as a perspective. Many of the mediums of today, as you well know, many of the psychics are talking about this journey through to 2032. 2032 as being a gateway opening within the golden consciousness of what our potential brave new world can be about. Is that a reality within your perspective?
Yes, and the way we are heading, believe it or not, we could reach it even earlier than that. We were always, shall we say, a little bit optimistic, thinking it was going to be this way. Part of the makeup of a human being, so soul, human being, of course, they come together as one. To live on this planet, there are certain conditions, shall we say, that are encoded into every single human being so that they can have a physical life here on Earth. And one of them, this is always very interesting, is a resistance to change. Now you could think, well, what happens then? The reason for this, initially, the way it was designed, was so that as people became comfortable with their world, as they managed to get enough food to eat, work, look after things, we are talking thousands of years here, that they could then get into a pattern, you could say, back to that word, into the groove, and be relatively satisfied with this. There are many other reasons, but this is a good way from a human perspective to look at it. And it has also kept people safe. Now, this is still encoded quite a lot within your DNA, however your DNA is changing. So that is a good sign for this. And therefore, you have on another energetic level that is coming out physically within as well, every single person, a resistance to changes. So you can have the head saying, yes, 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 I want this. And now you got the heart on board, which will push it further forward as well. And yet you can find yourself putting obstacles in the way or things coming up and you're thinking, well, how is this so? This is in everyday life, of course. And then when you look at the collective experience, if even in hindsight, perhaps you look back at maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and you think, oh, such and such could have happened so much quicker. Why was there so much turmoil around that? And so therefore, human beings are in a state of metamorphosis and change, whilst also having to tackle this innate, still within them, human nature, resistance to change. Now, as you're saying, this arc, and this is true, and it is not something that is made of a childhood fairy tale of you do this, you do this, you do this, and everything wonderful happens. As you know, the arc has some perils along the way. It needed to go through a long time of deconstruction of what is there to enable the changes to come to be accepted. If they were still there, even though people may not have been happy with them, they would have still remained because of this propensity, this resistance. It is natural within the world, this falling down, like a decomposition, is very, very difficult. And yet you're in the overlap time. You are in the created time. 2026 is very much fire energy, which is magic, which is creativity, which is setting course. It is burning away the end of the earth, but it is also, think of the phoenix coming out of the fire. So the manifestation, we'll start to see many of the true light manifestations coming in 2026, but they're really going to take on board to 2027. However, due to this resistance to change, which even though it is waning like the moon and will lessen and lessen, still having to deal with it. This is why we have given a time all the way up to 2032 for the true power of the new luminous beings of light, of the changes within that are happening on a physiological level. Physiological, not just energy that you might think of in terms of on the etheric level. And this is important because people have worked on their mental capacity, they worked on their emotional state, they are getting to that state of spiritual maturity, and therefore everything sings like a note, like a choir that has been practicing together all of their lives, where they hit that sweet spot and everything comes together with such pure harmonics. It opens up a portal. It opens up to such a new possibility. And then as the light floods in, everything changes. So it is not going to happen suddenly overnight. For some people, they may suddenly have spontaneous experiences. However, the world would not really work if everybody did that. We need it to be simply gentler. It needs to be a little bit slower. However, if you know deep in your heart where you are going, and this is for your heart's desire, you can help yourself along the way. A bit like planning for a wonderful holiday. All goes well if you put in the work beforehand so that you can make the best of it. Understand, yes, my dear.
Oh, this is just so wonderful. The richness of what you're sharing with us is beautiful, existing on so many different levels. Oh my goodness, I'm completely overwhelmed. I'm not completely overwhelmed, actually. I am in my realm, but thank you very much for all of this extraordinary richness. And so, there are so many ends that I'd love to tease you into. Can we stay a little bit with chronology just for a moment? Because a number of significant people within the spiritual community, within the heart-centered community of the Gaia, are speaking of the fact that there will be an event that will take place in April of this year when we experience a blue wave from many of our star brothers and sisters, particularly from Sirius and the Pleiades, where we possibly will see the emanation of a blue lady, and this will have a profound effect on planet Earth. Do you feel that there are corresponding wisdoms with this thought that is being positioned or this belief that is being developed?
You're in a time where the galactic union is more prevalent due to all the things we've spoken of, due to the shifting of the frequency, due to the portal of the heart opening up. That which could seem very far away is but a heartbeat away. Those who already feel themselves very connected with the stars, the terminology, starseed and other, this has been happening for a long time. And yet there are others who may wonder, who may marvel, who may think about it. Now, for those who have no awareness at all, it still may be a little while. Don't want to shock everyone while they're doing everything else. And yet there is now such a mass number, as you said, a tipping point number, who have in their deepest heart's desires a connection to that which goes way beyond your cuboid of the universe, some which resides within and some which resides in other dimensions within your cuboid of the universe. And they can hear. This is the other wonderful thing about the heart. The heart resonating at such a higher frequency can be heard, again, a bit like music can be heard, way beyond the realms that it used to be able to be before. And therefore, they are reaching out purely for connection, for greeting. And this shows us that we are so much more when we are in a human body than we actually think we are. So, my dear, it is highly likely that many people have this experience. What many people do not realize is it may come in a lucidity dream state. Do not want to shock the planet and send off another wave, particularly in times of war and violence, of aggression, of defensive mode for that which it does not understand. Therefore, if you have these experiences, whether in meditation state, whether in lucid dreaming state, this is just as real as if it was in your physical world, perhaps even more so, because it can touch you in a way. It can resonate and become coherent in a way within you that perhaps with the more dense feeling of the physical world would not. Therefore, if you have these experiences, and I'm sure you will be guiding people as well, my dear friend, we would suggest if you have the experience, open your heart to it and see what they want to share. See what gift it is that they are bringing, what they are opening up within your star family. Does this make sense to you, my dear? Is this your feeling of what it'll likely occur?
This is wonderful, absolutely wonderful. The corollary that I have in my mind, in my consciousness, in my heart, is the fact that when this happens, if this happens, and as you quite beautifully said, that lucidity of the flow of this taking place, the celebration and the arousal of the divine feminine in this particular capacity. Because I do appreciate that we're talking chronology, we're talking time, and of course you are not living within time in your 28th dimensional state. So I really appreciate the fact that you've just lowered your vibration somewhat to be able to speak with us in this very human way. We appreciate you tremendously. So the corollary that I wanted to mention was the fact that in 1997, as you so well know, a chosen one, in human terms known as Diana Spencer or Diana, the Princess of Wales, chose to go back into the higher dimensions. And in her passing, there was a shock wave that moved around the planet that burst the hearts open of, I believe the statistics were around 5.5 billion people, which was way over 2/3 of the population of the planet at that time. Can you give us an inkling, a small token of, are we thinking in the right way that there will be another force of Shakti within the lucidity of our dreams, in altered states of consciousness, as you said, or indeed for those of us of a higher vibrational perspective of being able to see something similar happening?
We are expecting similar waves. A bit like when you look at the ocean, and is it not the seventh wave is always the biggest, but the other ones are still there too. And on the more practical level, practical, as if we can talk of such things in such way, there is such electrical force to do with the magnetism that actually happens. And very interesting when we talk about people with magnetic personalities or magnetism in their eyes in a magnetic way. What we are expecting, and perhaps I'm giving the game away a little bit, get a little teaser of how to look for these things. We are expecting some very magnetic, charismatic, and we mean this in the not the glamour way of charisma, the natural way of charisma. And this we expect, yes, on a global level, but also smaller into different structures into people's lives. And through certain actions and other, this also having these pinpoint moments that even if it is coming through a number of different people, the scientists will be, scratching their heads saying, how did that happen? That within a very, very short space of time, many, many people having a very, very strong emotional from the heart experience that generates out into the magnetic field throughout your planet. And then what people do not often realize is that you actually get the magnetism coming back, a bit like ping pong. It comes back at you. And then as it hits you, you receive the grace, shall we say, the grace of the one who actually has this charisma. And it can be in real time. However, the world that you live in now with your movies and other, it can come from another time. It can come from a recording from long ago that many, many people see and their hearts are open. And just from our very start of our conversation, we would never advocate, of course, war and violence at all. What we would say, however, the only silver lining is that through that compassion rises up. It does rise up. And this also often have this factor point where you have a pinball happening, going round and round to lots of different people, and then this magnetism coming back. It is so very, very prevalent. With this, with Diana, yes. And all that she gave and all that she sacrificed in that particular human form, with the acknowledgement that with this happening, she was an integral part of this start of the era of the heart, of this true getting with the program, getting it on, getting it to change. And this was, as you say, it's a bit like the spark that goes onto the fire to allow it to burn, but you need the spark first. And in terms of the mass population, this was seen from, where we are in the 26th dimension and beyond, for certain. Everyone knew what would be happening, as they do with so many different things. Saying that, though, destiny is really how you create your life, following the path of least resistance of your heart. That's very, very important. And then all of these things can manifest. It is very easy, of course, to say when not in connect, as I am in these days, because I am permanently in bliss and enjoyment of all of these things. We always appreciate, big fan of humans and all that you go through, and particularly of all the humans living at this time. If you took your ticket to live at this time, you are very adventurous souls. And this is why so many of those, such as I, are with you all now to simply help you through this, what can be sometimes quite a grueling process, but also a very opportunistic one. Is it not, my dear friend?
Absolutely. And I love the opportunistic aspect of all that you bring through in your wisdom. I love the optimistic aspects of the positivism. So thank you for that perspective, or the many perspectives that you've just revealed. There's so much energy pouring through, it's exquisite. And so, as we prepare for all of this wonderful realignment process of really coordinating our hearts with our heads, moving into an acknowledgement that feeling is the language of the soul, but we need at the same time to use our mental capacity to be very clear and consistent in the use of this. It seems that there's a redeeming feature that is pouring through, particularly pouring through from cosmic wisdom such as yours, which is leading us in the direction of fundamental frequencies, believing that the emotions are temporary and that the fundamental frequencies, the fundamental laws of the universe are consistent forever, forever, forever. So I wondered if there was an inspiration, a moment of inspiration that you could give us in how we can become more consistent, how we can become more constant, bearing in mind that we're still living within duality. And so, of course, duality is expanding and contracting us all the time, is, compelling us and then sending us out. And as a result, I guess this is one of the reasons, would you agree, of why we can be so frightened of change and so uncertain of uncertainty, which is an oxymoron in itself, as you well know. But it seems to me that we're moving towards a level of consistency and constancy. I wonder if you could possibly venture into that particular realm. I'm looking for that degree of energy that we can use, because all that you're giving us is so powerful, rather like a hook or a series of coat hooks on when we can actually place the fabric of our lives upon as we honor the wisdom that you're sharing with us. Sorry, that was a rather long answer, but does that make sense?
Certainly, my dear.
You get it all.
Of redemption as well within it.
Yeah.
Human beings are very, very interesting. When you come into a life, it is very, very rare to be brand new, as you know, my dear. Therefore, people come in to human life, yes, with amnesia, of course, from the lives before initially. And yet there is a strong energy of redemption within them. Things that they want to put right, things that they want to atone, and things that they would like to achieve and experience. This is vibrating like an inner bell within throughout the lifetime. And when up against the difficulties, the uncertainty of uncertainty, as you say so eloquently, and these very tricky bars that are often tread, the more heart we have, the more that we desire something to go well, the more jeopardy, of course, there is when we try something new, when we take ourselves outside our comfort zone. And therefore, truly the nugget of gold I can give you, these are the times when you can truly excel. Even in the times of when you are scared, when you fear, if you inhabit that and you allow it to immerse in you without saying, oh, I shouldn't be feeling this, or I'll just push it all away, what you'll actually do is tap into that deep desire in your soul for redemption. And another superpower kicks in, and it will find ways. You'll be thinking, why didn't I think of that before? You may do something, even your actions, your arms and legs seem to move as if before you'd actually thought about it. Just like someone, if something fell off a building, you were walking underneath, you may move quickly without even realizing how quickly you managed with your reflexes. And so therefore, because everybody, even in the most present state of being, are constantly living a little bit behind time and ahead of time, anticipating, if they truly desire, use their intention to fully embody the human experience. That in itself sounds scary, does it not? Fully embody, what you activate is these superpowers within you that no one comes into a life ready to atone, ready to redeem for other things without any tools or being given paths along the way to give you the tools to do it. Therefore, I would say with this nugget of gold, trust in yourself. Even if you think, but I am quite a failure, you've had lots of difficulties. Failure is how you learned how to succeed. Just know deep in your heart. So, what I would say is the more that you can inhabit these emotions, the quicker they move through. The emotions that get stuck are the ones that we push against and we push away. When we are in pure joy, in present moment and happiness, it passes through quickly, does it not? And it's because it's free flowing. And yet, all emotions are the same in the sense that they are energy. They are energy passing through. Therefore, inhabit even the most uncomfortable ones. Go into the heart and say, I've got this. My soul has got this. Even if I do not know consciously how to overcome, I do, and allow that energy to inspire the actions to come that will allow you to conquer, to move forward, to be better than you were a moment before. And in that betterment, because you're coming to it from a higher place, you naturally allow it to be betterment for others as well. So just as we were saying in the beginning, it is not the power struggle, it is not the dominance of the old way of being, which actually comes from a level of fear as well, that has not been inhabited. This is a way to move through where you get a betterment and the luminosity and the lucidity to be able to create something brand new. Understand? Yes. Is this what you? Is this an answer to your question, my dear, or have I gone off on a little bit of a tangent?
No,
Separate.
yes. All that I hoped, and more, as always. Zach, you always are immensely generous with the levels of wisdom that pours through. So we thank you, and it's so wonderfully lucid. So thank you. And I'm hearing two very powerful songs as you speak in influence of what you've just shared with us. Number one, the glory of the human body and how we need to treasure the human body much more than we do, perhaps. As we treasure the human body, because we are spirit incarnate in physical form, and we honor that, those of us that are aware, we honor that. And I know that many of our brothers and sisters that aren't are awakening to the possibility of what it is to be embodied. It seems that in order to answer the release of the stress, the redemption of the stress, the redemption of the noise that has been produced by the ego within human form, to do as fast as possible, only engaged in ends gained rather than the means whereby, that if we were able to experience greater stillness, if we were able to experience greater inner silence, even in the moment of doing, that we have a balance with being. So the inner and the outer, the above and the below, is much more balanced, much more within an equilibrium within us. We begin to see where the constancy of our divine spirit lies, to move us forward and to do what we came here to do, which is, of course, to participate in the salvations that are taking place that you enumerate, but also to optimize our creativity with as much love, with as much joy, with as much delight, with as much thrills as we possibly can. And so from a 28th dimensional perspective, how does planet Earth look at this time? What do you see? How would you describe that? I know you're going to be wonderful and share it in the equilibrium of human terms, but when you see it, how does it look?
Brighter than the sun. Now, the reason why we say this, there is so much energy coming off of people. People haven't worked out how to moderate it yet. Bit like switching on a light bulb. It is radiating out left, right, and center. This is quite normal. This is a part of the evolutionary experience that is natural. what we expect to happen over time is that people will modulate it, be able to use it, be able to direct it. And this is what we're doing a lot with people, as you heard, teaching people how to use this. And yet when we look, all of us are putting on our sunglasses just to have a little look at the earth. And this is also because the emotions are running very high. There is so much stimulation in your modern world. People used to be awake for a certain amount of time while the light was there, whether you were in the north or the southern hemisphere, and there would be downtime. Majority of people around your planet do not have the same level of downtime that they used to be, and therefore it is as if the energy field is working on overtime. Now, this can also provide a little bit of burnout. And everything that you were saying before regarding the stillness, and this was a wonderful way in from that which was spoken of before about inhabiting emotions, that what people will find is the more that they allow that state of being the inhabiting, the quicker the energy flows through. And just like standing at a station with a passing train that goes, when you are waiting in between, there is actually just complete stillness. And the more you get into that state that you so wonderfully described of the place of calm and stillness, it literally gives energetic space for everything else to happen. And that is how you learn how to modify the amount of light that you are pushing out at different times, how to be able to be fully mastery of your energy as well as your body. So although it looks very, very bright, it is a little bit chaotic, to say the least, on the earth at this time. And yet this energy is fuel. So much has been depleted within your earth, within people, and this is a fuel. And it is not like the fuels that you have in the ground that have been used up and all of this. This is a fuel that is infinite, because it is coming from within. It is coming from your heart space that is constantly plugged in to source energy, which is never ending. And the whole solar system at the moment is being affected by the earth, as the earth is coming now into its maturity. And that is to do with the human beings and nature coming into its own maturity as well. So just as you wouldn't release an 18-year-old who's just had their birthday and given their driving license and finishing college and all of this, and just expect them to be able to run with the world as an adult exactly as they might do in 10 or 20 years' time afterwards. It is the same now. It's coming into this birth, this celebration of the new, and it is now about finding that pathway through to find the equilibrium and the stillness and the calmness and the being as one, all parts of one, respect for every part of self, respect for every part of everybody else, respect for the planet, respect for nature, and so forth. This is what will do it. That will be the ticket, will it not, my dear friend?
This is fantastic. Thank you so much. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yes, respect and honoring is so exquisite. Thank you for reminding us. And so I'm filled with these multidimensional perceptions that you're bringing through. The energy thereof, I can feel that my whole body is becoming tonified. And I thank you from the deeper part of me, right from the very core of my soul and heart, for all that you're giving us. And also for the dear Janet that you are speaking through. And I will shortly observe the fact that her body is being used very extensively, but for this multidimensional channeling. And I want to respect that and come to a point of conclusion. But before we do, if I may just ask for one further question. It seems to me that as you speak to us, we're really toning belief, faith, and trust. That whatever we're engaging in on a higher vibrational level that produces love and joy and freedom and liberation and thrills and delight, that we're actually tonifying and spreading energy around the planet. It seems from the brightness of the way that you were describing the planet, like a sun, that our crystalline grid is really beginning to reopen and become tonified and sensitized and fueled with these exquisite energies to help us move into Homo luminous, where our carbon body becomes in a fuller equilibration with our crystalline body. Now, I've shared a number of thoughts there, I know, but if I may streamline all of that into, we're filled with belief, faith, and trust that what you're seeing provides us with an acknowledgement of we're moving in the right direction, those of us that are awake. So we really appreciate that. Not that we're damning anybody that isn't, but we're not in a competition, but we're seeing that we have an innate responsibility. If you could give us a token of what the quality of that responsibility would be for our brothers and sisters, indeed for all sentience on the planet, how would you describe that, please?
You know, when we talk to souls, Earth is not for the faint-hearted. We tell them, and yet they come here time and time again. Whatever period of time that you are living in, there is always a balance between the strife and the joy. And yet you are living at this time exactly as you said, and in trust and in faith and in belief. Did you know? Did you have the capability to change, to metamorphosize? It is as if the caterpillar already knows of the butterfly it is becoming. It looks out on the others and say, not so long, that will be me. And this is the same. And yet it takes guts, you know? It takes bravery. One of my favorite words, fortitude. It takes fortitude to do this. And therefore, what I would say, even though it is not for the faint-hearted, give yourself a little pat on the back, wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever is happening in your life, because you are doing it. You are living. You are living in this messy, imperfect world. And the chaos, what it actually provides is so many different avenues to be able to shine your light, to be able to, as you say, my dear, move not just into who you are, but remembering who you're becoming. Very interesting words there. Remembering who you're becoming, because deep in your soul, you already know. And that, like the caterpillar and the butterfly, that is how you know. So it is keep the faith, keep the trust, keep the love within you, and the desire to be part of this all. And as you set an intention for betterment for all, it is a very simple, been saying it for many, many years. Allow change to change you. Allow betterment for all, desire betterment for all. And that will create, a bit like in your Wizard of Oz, you know, the Yellow Brick Road. This will set a path. It's not so easy to go off your path when you have those within you. So exactly as you say, we are seeing changes. And this grid work is one of the reasons why the galactics are so opening up to the Earth now. The communication lines are strong. It really is taking its place in this keyboard of the universe, not as, from the primary school, the secondary school. This has really come into its maturity now. And so as you live it, as you come through this, even on the toughest of days, know that you are doing something really quite remarkable. Understand? Yes, my dear.
This is fantastic. Thank you so much. And I'm also very grateful to you. I'm immensely appreciative of the fact that you've spent so long giving us these wonderful answers during this deep dialogue. But I know that you also are being called upon by other people, or indeed other star beings within the cosmology, because after all, you are a cosmic master. And so I want to say to you, thank you deeply until we meet again for all of these wisdoms. As you well know, you can feel it in my heart. I would like us to go on talking all night But I'm also very appreciative of dear Janet and the fact that her energies are being used in a multidimensional way. So I say, my heart is with you. I love you. Namaste, namaste, namaste.
Mm. The joy is all mine, my dear. And we give and we receive in equal measure. Ha ha! Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I also receive joy from such communications. Pleasure, my dear. I leave you now. Goodbye, my dears. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Sorry, need to stretch. He sort of holds me a little bit tighter.
Of course. Well done, my darling. Well done. That was extraordinary. Wow, 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 wow. Such beautiful information, clarity par excellence. Bless you. I'm very aware of our time, and so we've reached a point of completion. But I'm sure that everybody is reverberating and tingling and feeling the wonders of this wisdom. And, I'm sure you would say this, Janet, that you can feel that although Zach, everybody, you can feel that Zach is immensely clear in the transmission, that the majority of the energy that is being brought through is the resonance that is affecting all of your cells. So if there were any pointers that you felt were unclear or that you were slightly confused, please, can you put all of that into the trash can? Because it's what you've received on a deeper level that is not cognitive. It's highly intuitive. And as Zach said, because he's the master of time, because he doesn't live within time, he's existing in the 28th dimension where there is no time and no space and no weight, that actually the energies will percolate through you during sleep state, and possibly in 3 or 4 or 5 days' time, maybe in 2 weeks or 6 months, you'll remember something that he's just said, and it will suddenly make sense. Would you? You'd agree, yes, darling?
Oh, absolutely. He is pumping. And sometimes he didn't do it so much this time because how he was answering the questions, but there's often a lot of humor in what he says. And we thought it was just his way, but he said it's a way of opening hearts. Now I think his hearts are more open. He doesn't need to do it so that the energy can get in. And that sounds a little bit intrusive, but it's just very high, very loving energy that is supportive of wherever we're at in life. So yes, I think even if it all becomes a bit of a jumble of what's said, or you just have a few different takeaways, it doesn't matter, because actually the energy and the knowledge, what's encoded, the wisdom within that goes directly in, and then it's within you as well.
Yeah. And, I appreciate absolutely what you've just said, but I also feel this wonderful mirth, this humor coming through, although he may not be, because I know in the past he's not chastised me, but he's just been, I like your naughtiness, and which has always been so endearing. And there's such humor involved in it. One never feels as though one's being told off, just being given a caution. So I hear you, of course. So, ladies and gentlemen, if that's the first time for you to experience a trance medium in action, bringing through this extraordinary wisdom of this disincarnate being, I know that your heart and joy is going to go to this beautiful lady sitting before us, that you've had an experience of the possibility of tuning into the infinite potential of the universe. And I know that Janet will agree with me, with both in regard of, we hope that you drink this in and feel that you're soaking in the wonderment of what we've just been offered. And bless you wherever you are, whatever time of day, whether you're in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere. tune into the Deep Dialogues work. There are many, I think there are 250 or maybe even more interviews. This is the third time that Janet has been on with Zach. So look into the other ones. They're all there on the YouTube channel, Deep Dialogues with Stuart Pearce. And we're going to make sure that you're tuning into all of the work that Janet does through her online personality or her online website. And, if you haven't met the Angels of Atlantis, please go to theangelsofatlantis.com or indeed go to the YouTube channel. You have a YouTube channel, don't you?
We do. It's quite rudimentary and small at the moment because we're mainly on Patreon. We've got Patreon and it's Zach's Portal, but it's Zach's Portal on both.
Zach's Portal. Wonderful.
Zach's Portal, Z-A-C, Zach's Portal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very clear. It has to be Z-A-C. It seems it's to do with the frequency.
Yeah, I can see why. We'll make sure, of course, that that's in the details beneath this wonderful interview. Thank you so much, Janet. Please, can you stay there as everybody leaves? And thank you, Ryan. Everybody, namaste, namaste. See you again soon.